Hello everyone, this is the answers video. Thank you for the questions. Sorry for the delay, I was a bit sick last week, but I'm down and here it is. And yes, this is my actual voice. If something isn't that clear, feel free to comment. I know that English isn't my primary language, and I know that I have some very bad pronunciation, but I felt like it might be a bit more personal than simply writing down all the answers in a video. Anyway, I welcome everyone here and very big thank you to everyone who still follows this channel. I can say that I'm gonna be more active. I got a new job recently, but I have to use the train to get there. But I try to make my best, and I hope I won't let down any one of you. So feel free to follow me. I have plans, more remix about to come. But first thing first, I need to answer a few questions sent by you all. I got many questions and I will try to answer them all properly. Here's the first question by Nathan SR2K9, who asked, how long have you been watching Sparta remixes for? I was expecting this question, so here's my answer. It's nothing that amazing, but here it is. I still remember it, and that's quite important. It was 2011 and 2012 when I was hooked on many parody videos of Kailu, SpongeBob and Wallace and Gromit. One of these videos was called Porridge and Time Travel. This video that plays right now. As a 12 years old, I thought it's the funniest shit ever. This video has a scene that lives in my head forever, rent-free. Here it is. And this is how I became aware of the whole Sparta remix meme. I remember instantly downloading it onto my old MP3 player, and soon after that I found the custom-made ones. There were many of them that gave me some really big impact. The one I remember the most is this one by the loser 53. It isn't that good compared to today's remixes, but it's quite good for its time. And there were many other classics, and during that time I wanted to make my own remixes too. The results were no need to quote it, but they were pretty crap. My old remixes were completely shit by today's standards. The good thing is that some of them, I mean almost all of them, were lost. A handful of them survived because I uploaded them for some reason onto another site. This one, for example, made out of an old crap commercial, but I began to listen to others, the professionals of that era, and soon I found myself improving a lot. But in short, this is the small story of me discovering Sparta remixes. Thank you for the question. Here's the next one, sent by Charlie Barry Remixer. Let's start with the second one, the one about the Pepsi or Coca-Cola. I do prefer Coca-Cola, to be honest, if we're talking about the original taste, but I have to admit that Pepsi had some good limited edition version, like this one. Everyone hated this one around me, but I kinda liked it. About the second or the first question in this case, who is my favorite user? The thing is, I can't really choose because currently there are many talented users and I don't think I've discovered everyone. You know that I was away for some time and I didn't follow how many people joining or how many people quitting, but I am sure that there are still folks who deserve the followings and the praises. I would talk about my original influences, but to be honest, I don't feel too comfortable about dropping names, so I'd rather keep it for myself. Sorry about that. And yes, there's the third question about the community. The thing is, I prefer to stay away from the community. I preferred it back in the day, and I prefer it right now, especially knowing what happened last month, what's happening right now. According to my sources, there's something steering again. The thing is, I am an adult, I have my own problems. The start of 2025 was a very big letdown for me. I had some job issues, I had to find a new job. But as I mentioned, recently everything went well. Luckily, seems like everything is in its right track. I prefer to not deep dive into this community, because, what I said, I have my own stuff to care about. And this sounds cowardly, and maybe it's a weak defense, but I know what I know, and I prefer to stay away. Anyway, because all of this, I do have my Discord server, which I announced a while ago. It's quite empty right now, there isn't too many things going on, but feel free to join. I hope I can be a bit more active in the next months. Thank you for the question, I hope you understand that I would not go any deeper than that. And here's the next one, by Fiery. So previously I talked about how I knew the Sparta Remix community and the war scene. And for inspiration, I would say it seems so fun to use almost every source and remix them using a bass like the original extent to Sparta Remix or the Subdex creation, one bass, an old favorite of mine. And in my early years, I made these crap remixes under a hour, only because I wanted to see if the source goes well along them. And I talking about sources like this one, old Hungarian memes or old Hungarian commercials, cartoon videos. Soon I began to do the remixes with origin sources. For some strange reason I used a lot of Pingu. I don't know why I wasn't really a fan of that cartoon, but maybe I found it funny, and that's why I used it. But while we are on this subject, I would say that this is my current goal again, to use a variety of sources, because there's many good sources people might don't know, maybe some old movies, maybe some obscure cartoon, and there are some pretty good local sources too. Nowadays it feels really rewarding to use something like that, especially when the remix comes out very good, in my opinion. About hobbies, maybe creating these remixes is the most special of my hobbies. My other hobbies include cooking, or cycling, or reading, and I kinda became a big movie nerd during my university years. I have a list of movies, it's over 1000 entries, and I keep updating it. It's not on IMDb, it's another local site. It's a private list, but I might share a link sometimes. But that's all. I do play games sometimes, and I recently bought a small but handy DJ controller, and I'm trying to use it because I am a part of a small radio group. It's a local one. I might share some of my broadcasts, but so far I wasn't comfortable of it. But I might find some use of my DJ desk in making a remix too, for example making some actual scratching. I don't really do that in remixes because I'm not a big fan of that. And my favorite bass from my basses, I would say the Sparta hack bass, which I made I think a year ago, is my current favorite. There's some of my old basses that I still like, but they sound really outdated by today's standards. But I would say the H point, T point, L point, X point, and the Techno Church bass from the old ones that I really like. From others, there's many good bass. It's hard to choose. If I need to choose a bass I liked it before and I like now, I would say the Sparta Aldebaran bass, made by this guy. It's made around 2011, I think. I used it before, maybe some other people used it, but it's quite on the roast base. I don't think it's on the Sparta Remix archive or in the Sparta Remix Upload channel. But thinking of it, I might wanna use it again sometimes, because it's a very catchy and good bass and it's not hard to use. It isn't that complex, but has some very good melody for its time. Thank you for the questions. And next, there's 2 questions about the Sparta Antimatter bass version 4. The thing is, I did consider making a version 4 of that bass, but I never really wanted to. I just see these basses, the free version of my Antimatter bass, as a trilogy. No need to expand them, unlike the Sparta Pulse remix that has 7 versions for some reason. I just prefer to try new ideas and don't rely too much on my old ideas. And I think free version is enough. There's countless other versions, people made their own versions of the Sparta Antimatter bass, so everyone can find their favorite. What I kinda regret is that I don't have the original FLP files anymore, because they were lost when I transferred my data to my new computer, and that's a bummer because the original basses were uploaded in a low quality format, and it would be cool to be able to remaster them, but sadly I don't remember what I used. All I remember using Nexus heavily, but I can't make them from memory. One thing I would try is to make a refined or some revisited version of the original version 1 of the Antimatter bass. Maybe keeping its original sound, but with many new techniques or with some modern updated melody. I would do that as a collaborative effort, not by myself. Maybe if there's some of you bass makers, talented bass makers who eager to do this, I would say that I'm open for a collab about creating a new version of the original Sparta Antimatter bass, not a version 4 but a recreated one from scratch. And the next question is by Somebreed S Mustard, asking me about what video I could never make. That's a good question. I would lie if I said that I never could make a no BGM Sparta remix, because there is one on my channel currently, this one. When I listen to my remixes without the basses, usually they sound bad to me. Currently I think I have to learn mastering my samples better, because they usually give me some headache before posting my video. There are many videos I had to render many times because I wasn't satisfied with the mastering. I think I'm getting better recently, but it's still not perfect. Anyway, don't expect me to upload too many no BGM video in the future. As I said, I prefer to keep the bass in my remixes. They sound better with it. Just have to find the perfect volume for the bass. And next, the KL Remixer asked me about if I have any favorite work from mine. I would say that this one is my favorite. It has many reasons, mostly because it was a local source. I have not used any local sources for years, and it uses a bass that I really wanted to use. And probably the biggest reason is that I could use this source in a really great way. It has 13 episodes. This is a short cartoon after all, and all the episodes has some very great samples that I could use. I think there are many samples that didn't end up in the video because it would be overcrowded, but I'm still proud of it. And maybe I did some better work recently, but this is the one I proud the most since I began doing these again. And thank you for the question. On to the next one. Mordor Spartan asked about if I have any passion other than Sparta remix and YouTube pop music videos, even if I don't really do the latter. But I said before, there's some other hobbies. Maybe the biggest one that I could compare to Sparta remix making is mapping for the classic Doom games. You might see some of my YouTube posts when I posting about community projects I were part of. I had some project in the last 5 years that never came into fruition, so I began to take part in community projects, community map packs. There is a long-going series of community projects that I don't really want to name right now because while they are very high quality, it's a controversial one due to some of the participants. But I kinda like it because they helped me a lot improving in that field too. And I have some some plan for the future. There's one plan, one single map. I began to collect the resources for that, and it might be my side project for the next days or months, depending how long it takes. One of my earliest projects took me, I think, 9 months to make. It was a 7th map pack. It isn't that good, but I'm kinda proud of it. But I'm thinking about doing only single maps in the next few years because, to be honest, I always plan ahead and these plans fall apart as soon as I began to work on them because I don't really have the schedule for them. Anyway, thank you for the question and on to the last one. And this question is asked by Mikachu3176. Do you have any advice for people who want to get into Sparta remixes? That's a really good question. And my answer is that originality and variety is the key, at least in my opinion. And sometimes it's probably the most fun thing to do, to dig out some good sources. But it can be anything from your favorite sources. My advice that you instantly use it or keep it for later. It can help you when you have no any ideas what to do next. I have a list of sources that I want to use in the future, but I save them for times when I'm not inspired. And I think that variety should be a big factor. Nowadays people tend to favor certain sources, like the object show sources. I do not know how many versions of this cartoon there are at the moment because I never really cared for it, but I can mention others like SpongeBob. If we stick to the classics, one of my own rules is to try to be more versatile. For example, a longer time between two well-synchronized remixes like I did it recently. You know that I have a remix made in the beginning of 2024 and one made in the beginning of 2025. And they have a big time between them. At least I can gather some inspiration more, and maybe it's worth the waiting. Of course, it's not the case when some new episode drops and everyone instantly wants to use it. For example, many remixes were uploaded on the same day. There are special cases like that, but this is a special case, talking about the general. But in short, I think remixes are still fun to make, but creativity is the key. Is it heavily recommended to learn from the masters, so-called masters? But you should focus on developing your own style, maybe in your source choices, maybe how you make your remixes, because this is the one aspect that can make your work absolutely original. But this is my opinion, so do what you want, do what you think the best. And we are at the end. Thank you for the questions. The Discord server is in the description. Feel free to join. And I hope I gave you all some satisfactory answer. If something isn't that clear, please write a comment. I can explain my answers more. But that's all for today. Maybe there were other videos when I gonna use my own voice. But anyway, see ya, and thank you for the answers again. Have a nice day.